a senior lecturer in journalism from the University of Lancaster, Robert Gucci. Robert, first of all, your reaction, if you would, to the news.
Well, I think for people who see this as social hacking, watchdogging on government, a release of transparency from those who think that harm was being done by the U.S. government, this is a good thing. For those who think that this was espionage and he's a traitor or he's an instigator or something, then certainly these people want that man back in the United States. But here's the issue. We're talking about mental health, and I wonder how much comment should be made about the mental health that stresses that have been put on Julian Assange since he was put into captivity, since he was put into positions of trying to run from a government that's simply trying to punish somebody for airing their dirty laundry. And I think that treatment of Julian Assange by the U.S. government for so long now and these constant threats probably has created this mental capacity that he's in now.
Absolutely, and it's worth, of course, as Simon said, remembering there is an appeals process, 15 days, but I think by that time my quick maths tells me that Joe Biden will be in office. Let's put the decision to one side for now, if we can, Robert, and go back to when these leaks first dropped on the internet. Just explain to our viewers who may not remember that period just how consequential for journalism and freedom of speech these leaks were.
Well, when WikiLeaks first released a lot of these, and there's a whole background here, but it has to do with relationships with Chelsea Manning, who was Bradley Manning at the time, going in and finding data that showed drones, the actual damage of drone strikes. One of the most compelling visuals and audio that came from that, which I show in my classes frequently, is just the banter and the conversation of U.S. troops on a helicopter who killing journalists, and the derogatory and is horrible nature of that language that was being used. That video itself, part of the WikiLeaks project that released this collateral damage, I think it was called, was so shocking and striking, but so were all the thousands and thousands of emails and documents that really showed that the U.S. and its allies were not operating in good faith. We're targeting to get to some sort of isolationist, xenophobic nation that uses its weaponry to damage and kill those who are going against its interests abroad. So what this did and what WikiLeaks did as its website really put journalism out there as a way to get encrypted tips, as a way to hold sort of a watchdog role, particularly when the United States and the UK and their special relationship are operating behind the scenes, doing destruction and not necessarily telling people about it. And then we see the reaction when we're going after someone who is holding up a government to a higher standard.
Absolutely. And Robert, the footage you talk about was harrowing. I remember it from the time of seeing Apache attack helicopters, I think, just shooting indiscriminately at Iraqi citizens, journalists on a street corner. Now, he's not to be extradited if the appeal is unsuccessful. So what do you think this now means for this kind of whistleblowing, leaking journalism? Of course, we've had that tape leak just this morning of President Trump pressuring people in Georgia.
Well, certainly, and one of the things that still haunts Donald Trump to some degree is his earlier leaked tapes of egregious comments about women and his treatment of women that was during the campaign, and the first campaign. And so, this isn't just about journalism. Certainly, that's one of the main things. That's also one of the main critiques of whether Julian Assange is working as a journalist or isn't, and what's fair play for journalists. But this is about the average person who sees something wrong going and saying something about it. And what we don't want to do is create an environment that maybe we had before, where people were retaliated against. They still are retaliated against, but when that was really not talked about. And what WikiLeaks in this case has done has really provided protections for whistleblowers across the United States and maybe elsewhere. But yet we do have Joe Biden coming into the presidency, and it was under Barack Obama, the president at the time, when they were really going hard for Julian Assange. And I don't think Joe Biden is showing any sort of softening to that, which gives an indication of how he may view issues of whistleblowers going forward. And I think we need to watch that closely, because whistleblowers are vital, not just for individuals to be safe and sound, but for our societies to open up, particularly in a digital age where not everything should be protected simply because the powers that be say it is. We need to be asking more questions and using technology to go further into how our societies operate and how we treat one another.
Absolutely. Okay, Robert Gucci, bringing together there this quite momentous decision to not extradite Julian Assange to the United States on those espionage charges. Robert Gucci from the University of Lancaster in the UK, thank you for that.